Hey everyone, and welcome back to the English Learning Podcast, the place where we help you become confident, clear, and natural English speakers, step by step. I'm your host, Jason.
And I'm Julia. We're so happy to have you here with us today. Whether you're listening from your home, on the bus, or during a break, thank you for joining us.
Today's episode is a special one. We're going to talk about something very exciting: how I learned English in just 4 months.
That's right, 4 months. Now you might be thinking, is that even possible? Well, the truth is, yes, it is, but it takes the right mindset, strong motivation, and daily habits that actually work.
Exactly. In this episode, I'll be sharing my personal journey from struggling with basic words to finally being able to speak and understand English confidently. And Julia will jump in with tips and thoughts along the way to help you apply this to your own journey.
We'll break it all down for you: what worked, what didn't, and how you can do it too. And don't worry, this is not going to be full of complicated grammar. We'll keep it simple, clear, and super helpful.
So if you're just starting to learn English, or you've been learning for a while but feel stuck, stay with us. We promise this will be full of real talk, real tips, and some good motivation to help you keep going.
Let's dive into the first part of the journey where it all started. Jason, take us back. What made you want to learn English in the first place?
All right, let's go back to the very beginning. Before I started learning English, I always felt like something was missing. I couldn't understand English movies. I was afraid to speak in public. And I missed many opportunities just because I didn't know the language.
Yeah, and I think many of our listeners can relate to that. That feeling of being left out or shy to speak up just because your English isn't strong yet.
Exactly. For me, the big turning point came when I missed a job opportunity. The company liked my experience, but the interview was in English, and I couldn't speak well at all. I felt so embarrassed. That day, I made a decision: I will learn English, no matter what.
Wow, that's powerful. So your reason was clear: you wanted to grow, connect, and open new doors.
Yes, I also wanted to talk to people from different countries, understand motivational videos, travel with confidence. And honestly, I wanted to feel proud of myself. English felt like a key, and I was tired of standing behind a locked door.
I love that image: the key and the locked door. It's true. English connects you to the world. It's not just about grammar or tests, it's about freedom, confidence, and communication.
Exactly. So for anyone listening, ask yourself why you want to learn English. Is it for school, work, travel, or just to feel more confident?
Because once you know your why, everything else becomes easier. Motivation gets stronger. You stop giving up so easily.
That's right. My why kept me going, even when things got hard. And trust me, it wasn't always smooth. But we'll get to that in a minute.
We sure will. But before we talk about the challenges, take a moment and ask yourself, why do I want to learn English? Think about it. Write it down. It could be the most important step you take today.
So, after I decided to learn English, I was super motivated. I thought, yes, I'm going to do this. But the beginning was really hard.
Oh yes, I've been there too. Everyone feels excited at first, then boom, you meet grammar, strange pronunciation, and 10 different meanings for one word.
Exactly. I remember I tried to say beach one day, and I pronounced it so wrong that my friends started laughing. I felt embarrassed and didn't want to speak again for a week.
That happens a lot. Mistakes are part of learning, but in the beginning they can make you feel small. And for many people, the fear of making mistakes becomes their biggest enemy.
Yes, fear was my first challenge. I was afraid to speak. I was afraid of being judged. I didn't even want to say hello to a stranger in English. And then there was vocabulary. I kept forgetting words. I would learn them today, and by tomorrow, gone.
That's totally normal. Your brain needs time. It's like planting seeds. You don't see the tree the next day. You have to water it daily.
Great point, Julia. Another thing? Listening. Oh my goodness. I watched movies and I couldn't understand anything. People spoke so fast. I felt like, will I ever get this?
It's overwhelming at first. And the worst part is, sometimes you compare yourself to others. Why is he better than me? Why does she speak so easily? But every learner has a different story and speed.
So true. I made that mistake comparing myself. But now I tell learners, don't compare. Just improve a little each day. And back then, my biggest challenge was feeling like I wasn't good enough.
That's such an important thing to say, Jason. So many learners think they're bad at English. But they're not. They're just new to it. And new things take time.
Exactly. So to everyone listening, it's okay to struggle in the beginning. That's normal. You're not alone, and it doesn't mean you'll fail. It just means you're learning something new, and that's brave.
Beautifully said. The beginning is tough, but it doesn't stay that way. Once you get through those first few weeks, things really start to change.
And that's what we're going to talk about next, how I created a system that actually worked, and how I improved step by step, month by month. So, let's start with month 1. My main goal was simple surround myself with English every single day.
You mean total immersion, right?
Exactly. I changed my phone to English. I started listening to English podcasts every morning. I watched short YouTube videos, even if I didn't understand everything.
That's a smart move, because even if you don't catch every word, your brain starts getting used to the rhythm, the sound, the structure.
Right. And the second thing I worked on was my mindset. I stopped saying, I'm bad at English. I replaced that with, I'm learning. I'm getting better every day.
That's powerful. Words you tell yourself matter. Believing that you can learn is the first step.
And I kept a journal in English. Very simple. Just 2 to 3 sentences a day. For example, today I listened to a podcast. I learned 5 new words. That helped me feel progress. In the second month, I focused on vocabulary and listening. I made it a habit to learn 10 new words every day, but only useful words.
What do you mean by useful words?
Words I actually use in daily life, like go, need, want, buy, talk, important. Not rare or academic words I'd never use in conversation.
Smart. And how did you remember them?
I used flashcards and short sentences. For example, I need water. I want to go. Repeating those small sentences helped me more than long grammar lessons.
And for listening?
Podcasts again. But this time, I repeated what I heard. I paused after each sentence and said it aloud. It felt silly, but it trained my ears and my mouth at the same time. In month 3, I finally started speaking a lot. I found language exchange apps where I could chat with English speakers. I didn't care about mistakes. I just wanted to speak.
Yes. Speaking is where real growth happens. How did you build confidence?
I prepared simple answers to common questions. What's your name? Where are you from? What do you like to do? Then I practiced those answers again and again until they felt natural.
That's a great technique. It's like having a toolbox ready when someone talks to you.
Exactly. I also spoke to myself. In the mirror, during walks, just talking in English. That built a rhythm. It felt more real. By month 4, I focused on reviewing what I had learned. and turning it into real conversations. I wasn't chasing more words, I was using the ones I already knew.
That's a key point. Many learners think they need more and more new words, but actually, using what you know is more powerful.
Absolutely. I had short conversations with English speakers online, I joined discussion groups, and I even recorded myself talking for 2 minutes every day.
Wow, that's commitment. Did you notice a big difference?
Yes, I could understand more, speak more fluently, and I didn't freeze when someone talked to me in English. I still made mistakes, but I felt free to express myself.
That's the goal, not perfection, but communication.
Exactly. And that month gave me the most confidence. I felt like, yes, I can speak English now.
Jason, you made great progress in just 4 months, but let's be honest, it didn't happen by accident. You built some strong habits, right?
Oh, absolutely. Daily habits were the real secret. Without them, I don't think I would have improved that fast. Let me share a few that really worked for me.
Please do. Our listeners are probably wondering, what did he do every day that made such a big difference?
The first habit was listening to English every single morning, even before breakfast. I played short English podcasts or YouTube videos while brushing my teeth or making coffee. It became part of my routine.
That's smart. It's like waking your brain up in English mode first thing in the day.
Exactly. And it didn't have to be long, even just 10 minutes of input helped. The key was doing it every day.
Consistency over intensity. Got it. What else?
I also had a word of the day habit. Every day I picked one new word and used it at least 3 times in writing, in speaking, or just thinking with it.
I love that. One word a day sounds small, but if you really use it, it sticks.
It really worked. Another habit? Speaking to myself. I know it sounds weird, but I used to describe what I was doing. Now I'm walking to the market. I need to buy milk. Oh, I forgot my wallet. It felt silly at first, but it trained me to think in English.
That's genius. It's like practicing in real life without waiting for someone to talk to you.
Exactly. And finally, I kept a daily English journal. Just 3 to 4 sentences every evening about my day. Simple grammar, simple words, but powerful for progress.
So you were listening, speaking, writing, and thinking in English every day?
Yes, not for hours, just small pieces throughout the day. But those small pieces added up. That's how I improved so fast.
That's so helpful. Daily habits don't have to be hard, they just need to be consistent and intentional.
Exactly. Small steps, big results.
Jason, we've talked about your daily habits and strategies, but I'm curious, what tools or resources did you actually use? Any apps, websites, or materials?
Oh, yes. I didn't use anything expensive or complicated. Just a few free or low-cost tools that made a big difference.
Awesome. Let's start with your favorite.
Sure. My favorite app was Duolingo for basic vocabulary and grammar. It's fun, and I used it during breaks like waiting for the bus or standing in line.
It's great for short practice bursts. What about listening?
For listening, I used Spotify and YouTube. On Spotify, I listened to English learning podcasts, especially ones for beginners. And on YouTube, I followed channels that explain English in simple ways.
That's a gold mine. Any recommendations?
Yes, I liked English Class 101 and Speak English with Mr. Duncan. They speak slowly and clearly, perfect for beginners.
And for speaking?
I used an app called Hello Talk. It connects you with native English speakers who want to learn your language. You can chat by text, voice message, or even voice call.
That's a great way to practice real conversations.
Exactly. And for writing, I used Google Docs and Grammarly to write and check my sentences. It helped me learn from my mistakes.
So, It's really about choosing the right tools and using them daily.
Yes, you don't need 100 apps. Just 3 to 4 good ones you use regularly. That's enough.
Jason, your progress is inspiring, but I bet it wasn't perfect. Everyone makes mistakes when learning a new language. What were some of yours?
Oh, definitely. I made a lot of mistakes, but each one taught me something important. Let me share a few of them.
Please do. Our listeners will learn a lot from what didn't work, too.
One big mistake I made in the beginning was focusing too much on grammar. I spent hours trying to understand tenses past perfect, future continuous instead of just learning how to speak naturally.
Yes, that happens a lot. People try to be perfect and end up stuck.
Exactly. I learned that communication is more important than perfection. It's okay to say, "He go to school" at first. People still understand you. Fluency grows with use.
So true. What was another mistake?
Another mistake was comparing myself to others. I would watch someone speak English fluently and feel discouraged, like I'd never be that good.
That's such a common feeling, but everyone's learning journey is different.
Exactly. I learned to compare myself only to my past self. If I was better today than last month, that was a win.
That's a great mindset. Any other lessons?
Yes, I also waited too long to start speaking. I thought I needed to prepare more before having conversations, but the truth is, the best preparation is practice.
Amen to that. Make mistakes, laugh at them, and keep going.
Absolutely. Every mistake taught me how to improve. That's how we grow.
Jason, after all your experience, what advice would you give to people just starting to learn English?
Great question, Julia. The first advice is, don't be afraid to make mistakes. Mistakes are part of learning. Speak as much as you can, even if it's imperfect.
That's so important. Confidence grows when you speak, not when you stay silent.
Exactly. Also, focus on daily small steps. Even 10 minutes a day makes a difference if you do it consistently.
Consistency beats intensity. Got it.
And lastly, surround yourself with English. Listen, read, speak, and write a little every day. Make English part of your life, not just a subject.
Perfect advice. Learning English is a journey, not a race.
Yes, enjoy the journey and keep going.
Jason, this has been such an inspiring conversation. Before we wrap up, do you have any final thoughts for our listeners?
Thank you, Julia. I just want to say, if I can learn English in 4 months, you can too. The key is to believe in yourself and take it step by step.
Absolutely. And remember, it's okay to have ups and downs. What matters is that you keep moving forward.
Exactly. Keep your goals clear, stay consistent with your practice, and don't give up even when it feels hard.
And for our listeners, if you found this episode helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with your friends who want to learn English too.
Yes. Also, leave a comment and tell us what part of this episode helped you the most. We love hearing from you.
And if you want more tips and conversations to improve your English, check out our playlist, English Learning Podcast, right here on our channel.
Thanks for listening, everyone. Keep practicing, stay motivated, and see you next time. Hello, and welcome back to the English Learning Podcast. I'm Jason, your host, and as always, I'm here with my wonderful co-host, Julia.
Hi everyone, I'm so happy to be here with you again. If you want to learn how real people speak English in everyday life, then today's episode is perfect for you.
That's right. Our topic today is how people talk in English. You'll learn how native speakers talk in real conversations, not just in textbooks. We'll break it down in a simple and fun way so you can start speaking more naturally too.
We'll talk about everyday conversations, small talk, idioms, the difference between formal and informal English, and even some common mistakes to avoid.
And we'll also give you real examples and a chance to practice with us. So whether you're at home, commuting, or just relaxing, you can improve your English with us right now.
Yes, and don't worry if you're a beginner. We'll keep the language easy and clear for you to follow. Just listen and enjoy.
So grab your notebook or just sit back and listen. Let's explore how people really talk in English, starting with everyday conversations. All right, let's dive into our first part, everyday conversations. Julia, have you ever noticed how different real-life English is from the English we see in textbooks?
Oh, absolutely, Jason. In real life, people speak quickly, use contractions like I'm, your, let's, and they often don't use full sentences. It's much more relaxed and casual.
Exactly. Let's give our listeners an example. Imagine two friends meeting on the street.
Hey, long time no see. How have you been?
Hey, I've been good. Just super busy with work. You?
Same here. Work's been crazy lately. Want to grab coffee sometime?
Sure. Let's do it this weekend. That's a very simple, natural conversation. Notice how short and casual the sentences are?
Yes, and how we use phrases like long time no see. How have you been? Want to grab coffee? These are very common in everyday English.
Also, we don't always speak in full grammar. For example, instead of saying, "Would you like to have coffee with me?" we just say, "Want to grab coffee?"
Right. It's not wrong grammar, it's just spoken English. And contractions are everywhere, like I have becomes I've, and do you wanna becomes wanna.
Let's share a few more common phrases that people use every day.
Good idea. Here are a few. What's up means how are you? No worries means it's okay or don't worry about it. I'm good, thanks. A common reply when someone asks how you are. Sounds good means okay or I agree. Let's catch up soon means let's talk or meet again soon.
These small phrases can help you sound more natural and confident when you talk to someone in English.
Also, don't forget that in daily life, people often mix questions and answers.
Hey, Julia, are you free later?
Not sure yet. What's up?
Thinking of going for a walk. Want to come?
Maybe. Text me.
Sure thing.
See how casual and short everything is? That's very typical in English-speaking countries.
And the best way to learn this is to listen a lot and practice speaking. Podcasts, shows, and talking with others help a lot.
Yes, and don't be afraid of making mistakes. Just try to speak naturally and listen to how others talk.
Coming up next, we'll talk about something people often forget: tone and body language. It's not just what you say, but how you say it.
That's right. Let's go there now.
Now let's talk about something really important that's not just about words, tone, and body language.
Yes, a big part of communication is how you say things, not just the words you use. Tone of voice and body language can change the whole meaning of a sentence.
For example, if I say I'm fine in a happy tone, it sounds like everything is okay. But if I say it in a flat or sad tone, I'm fine, it can mean the opposite.
Exactly. And sometimes native speakers understand each other more from tone and facial expressions than from the actual words.
Let's do a quick demo. I'll say the same words in two different tones. Ready? Oh, great, you're here. Oh, great, you're here.
Wow! Same sentence, totally different feelings. In the first one, you're happy. In the second, maybe you're annoyed.
Exactly. So, for English learners, it's really important to listen to the emotion in people's voices.
Now let's talk about body language. That means using your face, hands, or posture to help communicate.
In English-speaking cultures, people often smile a lot when they talk, nod to show they're listening, and use hand gestures to explain something.
Yes, and when someone is interested, they might lean forward. But if they're bored, they might cross their arms or look away.
Let's say you're meeting someone for the first time. If you smile, make eye contact, and say, "Nice to meet you," in a friendly tone, they'll feel good.
But if you say it with no expression and look away, it might seem rude or cold even if your words are correct.
So, here's a tip. When you practice English, Don't just say the words, act the words. Use your face, hands, and voice. It makes a big difference.
Absolutely. Even just watching videos or mirroring native speakers can help you understand tone and body language better.
All right, coming up next, we'll talk about something we all use every day, but often forget how important it is: small talk and icebreakers.
Yes, those little conversations that help start a friendly chat. Stay with us.
Now let's talk about something that might seem small, but it's actually very important: small talk and icebreakers.
Yes. Small talk is the short, simple conversation people have to be polite, friendly, or just to start talking. It helps break the silence. That's why we also call it an icebreaker.
Right. And even though small talk might not be deep or serious, it's a big part of English-speaking culture. It's how people connect.
Let's give a few examples. Imagine you're in an elevator with a coworker. You don't want to stay silent, so you might say,
Nice weather today, huh? Or did you watch the game last night?
or traffic was really bad this morning. These topics may seem boring, but they're safe and friendly. That's the goal.
Here are some common small talk topics in English. The weather looks like rain today. The weekend. Any plans for the weekend? Work or school? How's your day going? Sports or news? Did you hear about that match yesterday? Compliments. I like your jacket.
These simple questions open the door for conversation. And remember, the goal isn't to have a deep talk just to be social and polite.
Let's show an example. Here's a short small talk conversation between two people meeting at a party.
Hi, I don't think we've met before. I'm Julia.
Nice to meet you, Julia. I'm Jason. How do you know the host?
Oh, we used to work together. What about you?
We're old college friends. So, have you tried the snacks yet?
Not yet, but they look good. See how easy that was? They didn't talk about anything serious, but they were friendly and polite.
Exactly. And once small talk starts, it often leads to deeper conversation, but it has to start somewhere.
So here's a tip. Don't be afraid to start with something simple. Even a short sentence like, "How's your day?" can open the door.
And remember, smile, use a friendly tone, and show interest. People love talking to someone who listens.
Next up, we'll talk about something fun: idioms and expressions. You'll learn some cool phrases that make your English sound more natural.
Stay tuned. It's going to be a blast. All right, Julia. Now it's time for something really fun and interesting: idioms and expressions. These are phrases people use all the time that don't always make sense if you translate them word for word.
Yes, idioms make English colorful and exciting, but they can be tricky for learners because the meaning isn't always clear from the words themselves.
Exactly. For example, if someone says, "It's raining cats and dogs," they don't mean animals are falling from the sky. It just means it's raining very heavily.
Let's share a few popular idioms that people use in everyday English conversations.
Great idea. Here are 5 idioms with simple explanations. Break the ice to start a conversation in a friendly way. Piece of cake, something very easy to do. Hit the books to study hard. Under the weather, feeling sick or not well. Spill the beans to tell a secret.
Those are great, and these idioms come up in conversations a lot, so knowing them will help you understand native speakers better.
Let's do a quick example with the idiom break the ice. Imagine you're at a party and you want to start talking to someone new.
You might say, "Hi, I'm Julia. How do you know the host?" That's a way to break the ice.
Exactly. And if you want to say something was easy, you could say, "The exam was a piece of cake."
It sounds much more natural and fun than just saying, "The exam was easy."
Here's a quick challenge for our listeners. Try to use one idiom you learned today in a conversation this week.
Yes, practice makes perfect, and don't worry if you don't get it right the first time. Just keep trying.
Next, we'll talk about how to speak formally and informally. That's important because the way you talk changes depending on who you're talking to.
You don't want to sound too stiff with your friends or too casual in a job interview.
Let's get into it. All right, Julia, let's talk about something that can be a little tricky for English learners speaking formally and informally.
Yes, the way you talk depends a lot on who you're talking to and where you are. Speaking to your boss is different from chatting with your friends.
Exactly. Formal English is polite, professional, and clear. Informal English is relaxed, friendly, and often uses slang or contractions.
Let's start with an example. Imagine you're writing an email to your boss.
In formal English, you might say, "Dear Mr. Smith, I hope this message finds you well. I am writing to inform you about the meeting scheduled for next Monday."
But if you're texting a friend about the same meeting, you might say, "Hey, just wanted to remind you about the meeting on Monday."
See the difference? The formal version uses full sentences, polite words like, "Dear, and I am writing to inform you." The informal version is short and casual.
Here are some common formal versus informal expressions. Formal, informal, I am writing to inform you. Just wanted to tell you I would appreciate it if could you? Thank you for your attention. Thanks, I look forward to hearing from you. Talk soon.
Another big difference is in contractions. Formal English usually avoids contractions like don't or can't. Informal English uses them all the time.
Also, slang and idioms are common in informal speech, but usually not in formal writing or talking.
Here's a tip for learners. Match your language to the situation. When in doubt, it's better to be a little more formal.
And practice switching between the two styles so you feel comfortable in any situation.
Coming up next, we'll talk about something very important: how to ask questions and keep a conversation going.
Great! Asking questions is the key to good conversations. Don't miss it.
All right, Julia, let's talk about something every English learner faces: common mistakes people make when speaking English.
Yes, making mistakes is totally normal, but if we know the common ones, we can avoid them and speak more clearly.
One common mistake is mixing up verb tenses. For example, saying "I go to the store yesterday" instead of "I went to the store yesterday."
Right, past events need the past tense. So remember I went, not I go, for something that already happened.
Another mistake is wrong word order in questions. For example, saying "You are coming" instead of "Are you coming?"
Yes, in English, questions usually start with an auxiliary verb like are, do, or did. So, are you coming? Sounds natural.
And many learners confuse prepositions like saying "I am good in English" instead of "I am good at English."
Prepositions can be tricky, but practicing common phrases helps. For example, good at, interested in, listen to.
Here's one more mistake: pronunciation errors that change the meaning. For example, saying sheet instead of shit, or vice versa. That can cause funny or embarrassing moments.
So, practice listening and repeating words carefully, and don't be afraid to ask for help or correction.
Great advice. The key is to keep practicing and not worry too much about being perfect.
Exactly. Mistakes are part of learning. The more you speak, the better you get.
Coming up next, we'll talk about how to practice speaking English every day to improve faster.
Stay tuned.
All right, Julia. Now let's practice what we've been talking about with some role-play examples. This is a great way to get comfortable speaking English.
Yes, role plays help you practice real-life situations in a safe space. Let's do 2 quick examples.
Okay, first scenario: meeting someone for the first time. "Hi, I don't think we've met before. I'm Jason."
Nice to meet you, Jason. I'm Julia. What do you do?
"I'm a teacher. How about you?"
I work in marketing. Do you enjoy your job?
"Yes, I love it. What about you?"
Me too. It's fun and challenging. Great. Now let's try a second scenario. Ordering food at a restaurant.
"Hi, I'd like to order a cheeseburger and fries, please."
Sure. Would you like anything to drink?
Yes, a glass of water, please.
Got it. Your order will see how these simple conversations use polite language and clear questions.
Role-playing like this is a fantastic way to practice speaking and build confidence.
Try practicing with a friend or even by yourself in front of a mirror.
Next up, we'll share some tips on how to improve your English pronunciation.
Don't miss it.
All right, Julia, we're almost at the end of today's episode. But before we wrap up, let's share some quick tips on how to speak English like a native speaker.
Yes, speaking like a native isn't about being perfect. It's about sounding natural and confident.
Here are a few tips. Listen carefully to native speakers watch movies, listen to podcasts, and pay attention to how they speak. Practice speaking regularly, even if it's just talking to yourself or repeating phrases aloud. Focus on rhythm and intonation. English has a musical flow, with some words stressed more than others. Use contractions instead of saying, I am going. Say, I'm going. Learn common phrases and expressions. They make your speech sound more natural.
Also, don't be afraid to make mistakes. Native speakers make mistakes too. The key is to keep practicing.
And remember, speaking confidently is just as important as speaking correctly.
Absolutely. The more you practice, the more natural you'll sound.
That's all for today. Thanks for joining us on the English Learning Podcast.
See you next time. Keep practicing and keep talking.
All right, Julia. It's time for our favorite part, practice time for our listeners. This is where we help you get speaking right now.
Yes, we'll say some sentences and questions slowly and then give you a moment to repeat after us.
Let's start with a simple greeting. Repeat after me. Hello, how are you today?
Great. Now try this one. What do you like to do in your free time?
Good job! Here's a question using an idiom. Have you ever broken the ice at a party?
Nice. Let's try a formal sentence I am writing to inform you about the meeting scheduled for Monday.
Last one. Can you please help me with this task?
Awesome. Keep practicing these sentences throughout your day.
Remember, speaking often and practicing out loud is the best way to improve.
That's right. Keep up the great work, and soon you'll feel more confident speaking English.
Thanks for practicing with us today. All right, Julia. We've covered a lot today about how people talk in English, from everyday conversations, tone and body language, idioms, formal versus informal speech, and more.
Yes, Jason. We talked about the importance of understanding different ways people speak so you can communicate confidently in many situations.
Remember, learning English is a journey. It takes time, practice, and patience. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. They help you learn and improve.
Keep listening, speaking, and practicing every day. Use the tips and examples we shared, and soon you'll notice your English getting stronger and more natural.
Thanks so much for joining us today. We hope you found this episode helpful and fun.
See you next time on the English Learning Podcast. Keep talking and keep growing.
That's a wrap for today's episode. If you enjoyed this podcast, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel.
And don't forget to leave a comment telling us what topic you want us to cover next. We love hearing from you.
Follow us on social media for more English learning tips and updates.
Thanks for being part of our community. Keep practicing, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of the English Learning Podcast. Today, we have an exciting and very practical topic for you: how to think in English. Thinking in English is one of the most effective ways to improve your fluency, and it can significantly boost your confidence when speaking. But the real question is, how can we get our minds to start thinking in English instead of translating from our native language?
That's right, Jason. It's something that many English learners struggle with. Most of us are used to translating everything we want to say into our own language before speaking in English, but this habit can slow us down. Today, we're going to share some great tips and strategies that can help you start thinking directly in English. And by the end of this episode, you'll have a clear idea of how to train your brain to think in English naturally.
Exactly. If you've ever wondered why native English speakers speak so effortlessly, it's because they think in English. So, in this episode, we'll break down why it's difficult to think in English, how to overcome that challenge, and practical steps you can take to start thinking in English yourself.
We've got lots to cover, so whether you're a beginner or someone who's been learning English for a while, stay tuned because these tips will be useful for all levels.
Let's dive in! Okay, let's start by understanding why thinking in English can be so challenging for many learners. Julia, why do you think it's hard for learners to switch from translating in their heads to thinking directly in English?
Well, Jason, it's mostly because we're so used to thinking in our native language. When we start learning a new language, our brains are wired to translate everything from our mother tongue into the target language, English in this case. It's like a safety net that helps us understand new words, but it actually slows down our fluency.
Exactly. This translation process, while useful at first, creates a mental barrier. When we try to speak, we're not just thinking about the words, we're also translating them in real time, which can make us feel slow and unsure when speaking. Instead of speaking directly in English, we're stuck in a translation loop.
And that's not the only reason. Another big factor is that English, like any language, has its own structures, expressions, and ways of thinking that are different from our native languages. For example, word order, idioms, and even how we describe emotions or actions can be different in English.
Right. And because of these differences, when we think in our native language and try to translate it into English, it often sounds unnatural. The sentences might not make sense, or the words might be out of order. And that can be really frustrating because, as learners, we want to sound fluent and natural, not like we're constantly translating.
Exactly. Also, thinking in English requires a lot of practice and patience. It's not something that happens overnight. You need to expose yourself to English frequently, not just in class or during study sessions, but throughout your day, through listening, reading, and speaking in English.
That's a great point, Julia. To summarize, thinking in English is hard because we rely on our native language too much. We face differences in sentence structure and expressions, and we don't practice enough in real-life contexts to make English feel like second nature. But don't worry, we're going to show you how to overcome these challenges and start thinking in English more naturally.
Now that we understand why it's challenging to think in English, let's talk about the benefits of actually making that shift. Jason, why is it so important for learners to start thinking in English rather than translating everything in their heads?
Great question, Julia. The main benefit is that it improves your fluency. When you're constantly translating, there's a delay between your thoughts and your words. But when you think directly in English, your mind can instantly connect the right words and phrases to your ideas, so speaking becomes much faster and more natural.
Exactly. Another huge benefit is that it boosts your confidence. I've noticed, as I've worked on thinking in English myself, that I no longer second-guess myself while speaking. Instead of worrying about how to translate from my native language, I can just focus on the conversation in English. It gives you the confidence to speak more freely, without hesitations or fear of mistakes.
And that confidence is key, Julia. But thinking in English also improves your listening skills. The more you practice thinking in English, the easier it will be to understand spoken English, especially in real-time conversations. If you think in English, Your brain is already prepared to process the language faster, and it can recognize words and phrases more easily when you're listening.
That's a really important point, Jason. And another benefit is that it helps with pronunciation. When you're thinking in English, you're not only practicing grammar and vocabulary, but also the sound of the language. Your mind gets used to the flow of words, their rhythm and pronunciation, which makes it easier to pronounce them correctly when speaking.
Absolutely. And here's the big one: thinking in English helps you sound more like a native speaker. Native speakers don't translate, they just think in their language, and so when they speak, their speech flows naturally. The more you think in English, the closer you get to that same natural flow of communication, which is a major goal for many learners.
So, to sum it up, when you start thinking in English, you're not just improving your speaking skills, you're enhancing your overall language ability. Your fluency, confidence, listening, pronunciation, and even your ability to sound like a native speaker all improve when you make that shift. It's like unlocking a new level of language learning.
Exactly, Julia. Thinking in English gives you that full, immersive experience, which is the best way to learn. But it doesn't happen overnight. So in the next section, we're going to show you some simple and effective steps to help you get there. Now that we've covered why it's difficult to think in English and the benefits of doing so, let's move on to a step-by-step guide that will help you start thinking in English. Julia, are you ready to share some practical steps with our listeners?
Absolutely. The first step is to start with simple words and sentences. You don't need to jump straight into complex sentences or abstract thoughts. Begin by practicing basic words and short phrases. For example, when you see an object around you, like a chair or a book, simply say the word to yourself in English.
That's right. It could be something as simple as labeling objects around your home or workspace. So, when you look at your phone, think phone in English. This helps your brain get used to associating objects with their English names, without having to translate. It's a quick way to get your mind into the English mode throughout your day.
Exactly. The next step is to label your thoughts in English. Instead of thinking in your native language, start describing your thoughts in English. For example, when you're thinking about what to eat for lunch, instead of thinking, "I'm hungry, I should have pasta," try thinking, "I'm hungry, I should eat pasta." This keeps your brain active in English and makes it a natural part of your thought process.
That's a great tip. And this leads us to the third step, which is to talk to yourself in English. I know it might sound a little strange at first, but it's a really effective technique. You can practice speaking out loud about your day, your plans, or even your feelings. You don't need anyone else around for this. You can just talk to yourself.
Absolutely. Talking to yourself helps to reinforce your thoughts in English. For instance, while you're driving or walking to work, try narrating what you're doing in English. "I'm walking to the bus stop now," or "I'm getting in the car." This simple practice can help you get used to speaking English without worrying about grammar rules.
Yes. And a fourth step is to change your inner thoughts to English. This one might take some time, but it's extremely powerful. It's all about turning the internal monologue that you have in your head into English. So instead of thinking in your native language, try to change your self-talk to English. For example, instead of thinking, "I hope I don't mess up," try thinking, "I can do this," in English.
That's a great way to change your mindset and boost your confidence. And the fifth step is to describe situations in English. Think about what's happening around you and try to describe it in English. For example, if you're in a coffee shop, instead of just thinking, "I need a coffee," think, "I'm at the coffee shop and I want to get a coffee." The more you describe your environment, the easier it becomes to think in English.
Exactly, Julia. By making these small but powerful changes in how we think, we train our brains to shift from our native language to English. And remember, practice is key. You won't see results overnight, but with consistency, your mind will naturally start to think in English more often.
And don't worry if you make mistakes along the way. The goal is progress, not perfection. The more you practice, the more natural it will feel. Now, let's move on to some practical exercises to really train your brain to think in English. Now that we've covered the steps to start thinking in English, let's dive into some practical exercises that will really help you train your brain. These exercises are simple, but they can make a huge difference if you practice them regularly.
The first exercise is called shadowing. This involves listening to native speakers, whether in podcasts, videos, or conversations, and repeating what they say out loud, immediately after they say it. It could be a sentence or a short phrase. The key is to mimic their rhythm, pronunciation, and intonation as closely as possible.
That's right, Jason. Shadowing helps you improve your fluency and pronunciation because it gets your brain used to hearing and producing English in real time. You're not translating, you're listening and speaking directly in English. This will also help you develop a more natural flow in your speaking, just like native speakers.
The second exercise is mind mapping in English. Mind mapping is a great way to visualize your thoughts and ideas in English. You can start with a central idea or topic and branch out with related words, phrases, or sentences. For example, if you're learning about food, you could start with food in the center and then branch out to fruits, vegetables, drinks, etc. This helps you connect ideas and vocabulary in your mind in English without translating.
That's a fun exercise. It really helps activate your brain and make connections between words in English. Plus, it's a fantastic way to build vocabulary because you can visualize how different words are related to each other.
Another helpful exercise is journaling your thoughts in English. Spend 5 to 10 minutes each day writing down your thoughts, feelings, or experiences in English. It could be as simple as describing your day or reflecting on what you've learned. The important part is to get your thoughts out in English, even if you don't feel completely confident.
Journaling is a fantastic way to practice because it allows you to use English in a real, meaningful context. You don't have to worry about speaking perfectly. Just focus on expressing yourself in English. The more you write, the more you'll start thinking in English naturally.
Exactly, Julia. And don't forget, the key to all these exercises is consistency. The more you practice these exercises, the more your brain will adjust to thinking in English. And as your mind becomes accustomed to processing thoughts in English, your fluency will improve over time.
And finally, remember that these exercises don't need to be complicated. You can start small and build up from there. Whether it's shadowing, mind mapping, or journaling, the most important thing is that you keep practicing every day.
Exactly. So, try to incorporate these exercises into your daily routine and see how your thinking in English improves. Now, let's move on to the next part of the podcast, common mistakes that learners make when trying to think in English and how you can avoid them.
Now that we've covered practical exercises to help you think in English, let's talk about common mistakes that learners often make when trying to think in English, and more importantly, how to avoid them.
That's a great point, Julia. One of the most common mistakes is focusing too much on grammar. When we try to think in English, we often get stuck thinking about whether a sentence is grammatically perfect. But remember, your goal is to speak naturally and confidently, not to create the perfect sentence every time.
Exactly. Don't worry too much about small grammatical errors at first. The key is to practice thinking in English without constantly trying to correct every thought. Focus on getting your ideas out in English, even if the grammar isn't perfect. Over time, with more practice, the grammar will come naturally.
Another mistake is overthinking your vocabulary choices. Sometimes, learners get so focused on finding the perfect word or phrase that they freeze and don't say anything at all. If you don't know a specific word, just use a synonym or a simpler expression. The goal is to keep the conversation flowing, even if it means using simpler language at times.
Exactly, Jason. In real-life conversations, native speakers don't always use complicated words. They often use simple and clear vocabulary. If you don't know a word, try to explain it in a different way or use a synonym. This will help you communicate effectively without getting stuck.
Another common mistake is thinking too much in your native language. It's easy to slip back into our native language when we get stuck. But the more you rely on your native language, the harder it will be to make that shift to English. So, if you're thinking in your first language, try to consciously switch back to English as soon as possible.
That's a good point. The best way to break the habit of translating is to immerse yourself in English as much as you can. Surround yourself with English through media, conversations, and daily activities. The more you expose yourself to English, the easier it will become to think in it.
And finally, one big mistake is expecting instant results. Learning to think in English takes time and patience. You won't wake up one day thinking fluently in English. It's a gradual process that requires daily practice and commitment. So, don't get discouraged if it feels difficult at first.
Exactly. Stay consistent with your practice, and remember that making mistakes is part of the learning process. Each mistake is an opportunity to improve. Just keep practicing, and you'll see progress over time.
So, to summarize, avoid overthinking grammar. Don't freeze when you can't find the perfect word. Be mindful of slipping back into your native language. And remember that thinking in English is a gradual process. Keep practicing, and you'll get there.
That's right, Jason. Now let's wrap up with some final tips to help you continue on your journey of thinking in English.
We've covered a lot today, but before we finish, let's leave you with some final tips to help you continue improving your ability to think in English.
First, remember to stay consistent. As we mentioned earlier, this isn't something that happens overnight. The more you practice daily, the easier it will become to think in English. Even if you only practice for a few minutes each day, those minutes add up.
Second, immerse yourself in English. Surround yourself with the language as much as possible. Watch movies, listen to podcasts, read books, all in English. This constant exposure will help your brain start thinking in English naturally.
Third, be patient with yourself. There will be days when it feels harder than others, but that's normal. Celebrate small victories and keep going. Each time you practice, you're getting closer to fluency.
And finally, don't be afraid to make mistakes. Every mistake is an opportunity to improve. The more you speak and think in English, the more you'll learn from those mistakes and continue to grow.
Exactly. So, we challenge you to start thinking in English today. Try to incorporate the exercises and tips we've shared into your daily routine. Remember, progress is made with consistent practice.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the English Learning Podcast. If you found today's episode helpful, please make sure to subscribe, like, and share it with your friends. Don't forget to leave us a comment and let us know how you're practicing thinking in English. We'd love to hear your thoughts.
Keep practicing, stay patient, and we'll see you next time on the English Learning Podcast.